Doesn't say we're live. There we go. We are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Happy Wednesday? It's Wednesday. How's everyone doing? Let us know where you're tuning in from. I'm here with my friend and fellow astrologer, Eric from Big E Astrology. We collaborated a few months back, maybe even less than that. I don't even know. Was
Just
it
a month, I
last
think.
month?
Yeah.
Time is flying. We're already in the middle of August, almost to the end of August here. Let us know how you're doing. We have a lot to talk about. I'm sure everybody's feeling this energy of overwhelm, a little anxiety, wired up. And that doesn't have to be bad, don't forget. That could be very empowering, pushing us into getting things done. And so let's just let people catch up here, tune in, say hi. Where are you tuning in from? Arizona, Florida, Maryland.
Is anybody coming from Mars?
Well, anyone here from Mars, Uranus, Pluto? No?
Lisa, well, it's so good to be here. Thank you for having me back on the show. And
Yeah, thanks for coming back.
I love talking astrology with you, like always, but it's my type of season coming up. Virgo season's almost here.
Virgo. I was saying in my weekly podcast that every time we enter Virgo season, this sounds so gross and maybe funny, but I always just envision a plunger because it's like we have to clean the gunk to make way for things to flow again, right? And that's Virgo energy. Virgo energy is the cleanse, like the ultimate cleanse.
Fixing, repairing, yeah.
Yeah. And I think we all get right in. We're right about to enter Virgo season. The sun enters Virgo on the 22nd. And then we've got a Virgo new moon right after. And yeah, there's just a lot of
Wait. Don't understate it. It's not just a Virgo new moon, it's squaring Uranus.
Yes.
In Gemini.
We can't forget that.
That's fun.
That, but not to get too technical for those that don't like that. When you've got Virgo, a sign that's ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication, amongst many other things, it's information, it's our nervous system, and it could also lend to in Virgo, Mercury is very factual, result orientated, extremely organized, and it gives us all that feeling collectively of, okay, now it's time to get down to business. There's a reason this is back to school season, right? Because we get more serious. We're getting ready to switch into a different mode. We're getting ready to kind of power down so that we can then power back up, right?
Getting ready for autumn.
For equinox, everything's turning. And we ourselves are doing the same thing. So there's always this push to clean. I know I've been that way the past few weeks. I've been cleaning. It's almost like I have to get ready for fall. It's like cleaning everything, literally cleaning everything. That's Virgo energy. But the shadow end of this, considering also what else is going on, cosmically speaking, is that there is this very strong feeling and energy of anxiety in the collective and attention and a quickening of the systems on all fronts, which includes our physical system, our body. That's Virgo. Virgo is our health and our well-being. So if you are feeling a little bit jazzed up, for better or worse, because I know I've been like this. I have so much energy, and then I feel like I have to lay down for 20 minutes or I'm just going to completely fry.
Yeah.
And I think that that's just where we are right now.
Yeah.
And coming into the new moon on August 23rd, new moons are always a time of intention setting and, planting seeds, metaphorically speaking, looking to the future, looking to bring in the new. And this new moon is at the 0 degree of Virgo, very beginning. So it's like a blank slate, and it's
very pure and
very
intense.
Pure. Yeah, very pure, very intense. It's asking us to get serious about where, how, why, who we want to clean it up for ourselves and reprogramming our habits to be reflective of the life we want to live. Now, the other part of that is I have to mention that we have 2 eclipses coming up, okay? So we're entering that eclipse zone. September 7th, we're going to have a full moon total lunar eclipse. So for my UK friends in the house, you're going to be able to actually see this one. This lunar eclipse is in Pisces. Think of it like it's continuing a story that started last August, September. So reflect back. If you can't do it in the moment, don't worry about it. Reflect back to what might have been going on that seemed significant for you at that time. And then where you are right now. And it's almost like a continuation, another chapter here to the story. And then we have a solar eclipse on the 21st of September, which is it's also a new moon in Virgo again. So we've got this new moon on the 23rd, which is not an eclipse, but it's in the zone. And then we have
Doesn't it feel like it's an eclipse to you?
It feels like Mercury retrograde on fire right now with an eclipse. It feels like everything.
I mean, even though, right, it's sort of 0 and the nodes are at 18, it's the same thing on September 21st, where they're kind of, beyond the 10 degrees conjunction, because you have it at 29 and then the nodes will still be at 18. So like 11 degrees apart. So it's a lot.
Yeah. Well, and let's not forget that the new moon on the 23rd is 0. The new moon solar eclipse on the 21st is at 29, both at the anaretic degrees here. So please, that's why we wanted to do this, because we wanted to kind of just stress the significance of the symbolism for everybody, personally speaking, of where you are at on your journey. Yeah. And where do you have Virgo energy? Because we all have it somewhere, right? We all have it in our chart. Yes, even if you don't have any planets there. And my assistant, Stormy's going to pop it in the chat, where you can pull up your birth chart. You can get a download to the houses. You can see a quick tutorial on how to track this in case you want to do that and you don't know how to do it yet. Feel free to grab those. But it's important to know, because it is, this is your, like we always say, it's your psycho-spiritual roadmap, your birth chart. Yeah. It's the road to your soul, to your destiny. And that's not to say that you always are going to be right on track. None of us are. But that's the beauty of understanding the energies as they're working for you, because you can course correct and you can recognize, right, like where something might not be working. And that's what Virgo's all about, making things better. Virgo is the sacred servant. Think of it that way, right?
And it's the best personal assistant that anybody could ever have, Lisa.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, it is. And let's real quick, the Virgo new moon coming up. Put your hand up in the chat if you're feeling a little anxious, if you're feeling a little frazzled, wired. I'd like to hear this, because I know that sleeping right now is quite erratic. It's like the system feels fired up, electrified, ramped up.
Dreams have been off the charts.
The dreams are next level, super duper psychic stuff coming through the dream space. Downloads galore. So please trust that. If you're asking for signs and symbols and they're coming in through the dream space, trust it. I'm always so big on dreams, because I feel like they hold so much energy of our unconscious, obviously, and they're not always literal. You have to like really dig into them to get the message without panicking if it's not the most positive dream, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what else I noticed about that too, especially for our Cancer and Scorpio rising friends, having the Uranus and Gemini in the 8th house or the 12th house, it's been kind of wild. I can speak for me, but I've also talked to clients and friends with Cancer risings, and it's been a lot, the Uranus and Gemini, and it's there to November 7th. So you're getting this sneak preview, right? 2025, as we discussed last time, this is the year of the coming attractions. And then it integrates April 2026. But Cancer, Scorpio risings could be really experiencing a lot of kind of things from the different realms and in the unconscious. For me, as a Scorpio rising, I've been having a lot of dreams with the Uranus and Gemini 8th house. And one thing, as you were talking, that made me think about it, when you think about kind of like 0 degrees, 29 degrees, and then the Pisces, lunar eclipse on the 7th at 15 degrees, it's kind of hitting it all, right? It's like the beginning, the middle, and the end. And I honestly think it's closing up the chapter of the Piscean age. This is like the kind of like the beginning of the end of the illusion, of the confusion, of the deception, of the kind of like victimization, all this Pisces stuff that we've been dealing with for the last 2,100 years is starting to shift as we slowly start to crawl into the age of Aquarius. And I'm here for it.
And now Saturn moving into Aries officially next year, starting a whole new track through the Zodiac.
Yeah.
It really is about our own authority in general, leadership, but let's not forget Saturn's moving back into Pisces on September 1st.
A nice little visit.
with this eclipse also,
Yeah.
so the Pisces part of our charts are getting a double dose of a, not a setback. It's not a setback. It's more of like, well, wait a minute.
It's a check-in, yeah.
Yes. It's like, well, you're still here. We still have some work to do because that's Saturn. Saturn reminds us we're not done yet. And anything worth having is worth working on more and working through. So that will be a little checkpoint there. So we've got the new moon on the 23rd, which again, squaring Uranus. So it is warnings, just a little warning. The feeling of wanting to just basically throw it up in the air, rip it into blow it up into smithereens, move on, say the thing, storm out the door. Just watch that, because that energy is really big. And it's, we can't take things back that are so hasty and impulsive. And it is eclipses here too. So what's meant to be is going to be, we know that. But at the same time, I feel like this new moon is like a little prelude. It's like, okay, well, a little preview, excuse me. Where am I feeling like I'm chomping at the bit?
Yeah.
And because that's where you're going to get more action over the coming weeks. So it's not just a one and done energy. So it's important to look, like I said, to the Virgo Pisces, which are the opposites, areas of your chart, and see where you can stand to do a little more healing for yourself, or where you might not have been being kind to yourself, or where you've been too much in the sacrifice mode. And now it's time to come back to self. So for everyone, it's different. But
it's funny that you're saying that, because I think that when you're looking at this Virgo South Node energy, right, and right off the bat with the square to Uranus, there's a lot about us kind of, one, getting more comfortable with being comfortable, but I feel like the alarm bells are ringing. We have got to take care of our health. Virgo Pisces is the health axis.
Yeah.
Virgo rules the intestines. It's the gut health. And so as we get into fall and autumn and winter, right, and all that Halloween candy for the kids, and I can't stand it, what we need to do, and then the holidays, right, we tend to overeat. So I think we eat too much sugar. This weakens the immune system. This is how people get colds and the flu. So what this is all screaming to me is like, for everybody, and you guys look at your chart where the Virgo house is, but you've got to really think, how am I going to set myself up for success?
Right.
Not only just with all this energy, but with the season shift. And that is, maybe doing some intermittent fasting, increasing the fruits and veggies, taking breaks, trying to eat with the circadian rhythm of the sun, really maybe even getting into Pluto Aquarius, right? Doing a little parasite cleanse, focusing on your gut health at this time. Lisa, that is going to be super important for the collective.
Absolutely. And I even saw it in the chat. Linda was saying that her digestion's been a mess. And I actually know Linda. She's got strong Virgo and Pisces. So she's probably already really feeling these energies. But
she knows our reality. That's every day for Virgos.
And I'll say this as well. Energetically, remember, whatever is happening energetically in the cosmos, it does affect us physically. We do feel the energies, especially when it comes to eclipses. Even though it's not scientifically proven, we know better because I have many clients that are in the medical field. I have clients in law enforcement. I have people, bartenders that know when they know the moon cycles because they see acting out in the collective.
My friend's an ER doctor.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
okay, so
he's like, is it a full moon? I'm like, yeah, buddy. He's like, oh my God, we're swamped.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a real thing. That's why they came up with the term lunatics.
Yeah, lunacy. Exactly. Here's the other part of that too, is that going into a Virgo new moon, 0 degrees, it's reminding us where we have to clean up our health too. Like you said, if your digestion's a mess, then maybe you're not supposed to eat cheese. I'm just using that as an example. But and like you said, maybe it's the sugar. For everyone, it's different. But there is that your gut is also your brain. It's your brain. It's your second brain. Think about that. Yeah. So they have to work together, and that's just it. And it's important to also recognize with Pisces the spiritual health. So we can't just be ignoring the physical while we're tending to the spiritual, and we can't be ignoring the spiritual while we tend to the physical. They go hand in hand.
It's the balance of both. And guess what? That's what Saturn on September 1st is coming to knock on the door saying, hey, have you been keeping your healthy boundaries?
Right.
how you've been doing with your daily spiritual discipline and practices.
Yeah.
Right? Are you showing and practicing compassion, empathy, grace, and mercy to yourself first?
Yes.
I was talking to a client today about that, right? We have got to always remember it's okay. It's not selfish or self-centered when you put yourself first in a healthy way, especially for a lot of you mothers out there, but the gentlemen too. If you don't take care of yourself, it's just like they tell you on the airplane, right? Put your mask on, then you can help others. But we've got to do that in our regular lives.
Yeah.
If I'm drowning, how can I be of help to my wife and kids?
Right.
I've got to make sure I'm doing my part, right? Lifting my weights, not overeating, trying to stay hydrated. It's something that, as I like to say, Lisa, to my clients, we've got to be maniacal intentional at this time.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of stuff coming at us constantly. And I also have been really feeling, Lisa, we have all, even for us content creators, we need a little social media and technology diet. We need a little break.
Yes. Yes.
Whenever we can take it, right? Do your business and then get out. Don't linger. Make your post and then go. Don't sit there and start scrolling.
Well, and that's just it. I mean, thinking about content creation or for anyone listening, plug and play your life, your daily life. When you're doing content creation, for example, and also you're doing readings, right? That's a lot of energy. Mm-hmm. And, you have to allow yourself the replenishment of that energy from source. You can't keep going. I've done that in the past, and I know where it's ended me up. Spirit came in and was like, okay, now we're going to give you some crazy virus that's going to keep you a month and a half out of talking to anybody when you should have stopped 6 months ago, So it's like, I've learned the warning signs, and the Virgo is always, this time of year is where we always really tend to feel the accumulation of the energies, right? Because we have to purify the vessel. We have to purify the spirit. And
it's funny that you say that, because that's what I always say about Virgo, right? It's kind of cleaning up the mess that Leo made.
Yeah, because we get that big exactly. We've got that big energy where we can do it all.
It's Leo season. Leo threw the big frat party, and Virgo's got to come in and oh my God.
Womp.
You threw up on the sofa?
I was like womp, exactly. Yeah. But it's Virgo's a great energy too. I mean, every sign, every energy is, but it is good for getting our stuff together, for getting clear, getting schedules going, getting our routines in order. Yeah. That's not always fun, but it does feel good. As this morning I had it in my head that I was going to pickle a bunch of the vegetables from my garden that I've been wanting to pickle but I've been lazy. And I spent almost 3 hours doing it, and it felt so good because I'm like, now I have all my fire cider, I have my fermented, I had all my stuff. Yeah. And Virgo season, there we go. That's it. Gut health, fermented foods.
I love that you said that. And for the audience to really get this, Virgo can sometimes be the party pooper, but smashed in between, the fiery fixed fire sign of Leo, and then the cardinal initiating Venus, sign of Libra, Virgo is kind of listen, let's dot our I's, cross our T's, let's clean up so then we can celebrate and have the fun, so that we can enjoy the end of summer, so we can have this Virgo kind of make sure your calendar and your life is efficient. That's the Virgo word, right? Yeah. Efficiency. And then you can kind of let your hair down and have fun. If you're kind of just 24 hours fun, you're not getting everything met and accomplished. And then other things start lacking. And then you're like, oh my God. And then you have another type of hangover headache that you have to deal with. And so that's where I think Virgo really can come in. And I noticed it even where, for me, someone said to me, you are such a great support and such a cheerleader. And I said, yeah, Virgos, we want to see everybody else win. A healthy Virgo wants everyone to win, and that's really important, and to be and function at your best.
Yeah.
So this is a time that's going to be positive, I think, for everybody. But because of the planetary alignments, Lisa, there's a lot of challenges.
Yeah, there are, definitely. And, starting with, as we move into this eclipse, I want to just bring it back quickly to the physical, because I started to say it, and then in true Gemini rising fashion, I digressed and diverted. But the gravitational pull the moon pulls the tides. Think about this, right?
Yeah.
We know this. And even though, like I said, it's not scientifically proven, we know better here, right? Pisces are quite possibly, in my opinion, the most psychically sensitive, receptive sign of all 12. And it's the last sign, so it picks up the energy of every sign before, and it holds, right?
the wisdom
It holds the weight. Exactly.
of every sign. Yeah.
When we have a full moon, which is always a time of increased intuition, energy, awareness, emotion, heightened, everything's heightened, it's bigger, swells up. Our bodies even can contain more water at these times of a full moon. In the sign of Pisces, which is a water sign, the moon is water, it's fluid. The most sensitive, psychically sensitive, receptive water sign, the moon is here. Now, on top of that, it's a total lunar eclipse. So if you think about the symbolism of the lunar eclipse, right? We're basically, the light of the moon is being snuffed out. So the earth is literally passing between the sun and the moon and blocking the light of the moon. The moon doesn't have its own light. Its source of light is from the sun. Exactly. So during the moment of a total lunar eclipse, we're losing the light sources, the power sources. And so that's why the ancients looked at eclipses as such an ominous phenomenon. They feared them because if you think about it, the lights go on, the lights go off, and things change and things shift. They don't have to be so ominous, but physically speaking, our body feels that. It could mess with the circadian rhythms. Yeah. It could mess with I always say the confirmation bias also. Don't make it so. Don't sit there and say, oh, I'm going to get a pounding headache because it's a lunar eclipse. That doesn't mean that. But I will say the body is taking in this energy right now. And I know for what's going on through the collective is there's a lot of lower back issues, the root chakra, feeling unsafe, feeling ungrounded.
Lower back.
Worrying about
but
money.
I was going to tell you with the Pisces lunar eclipse, and you said the headache. You may not have the pounding headache, but your big toe may hurt.
Exactly. Well, I was just about to say that. the feet, the joints, the neck. I feel like I slept. I don't know what happened in my neck. I didn't even do anything, and I could barely move it for the past 3 days. And headaches, big thing right now. Headaches. And they move. They're not just like in one concentrated spot. It's like,
well, especially with Saturn and Neptune at 1 and 0 degrees.
Yes, the head.
A lot of headaches, even a lot of sinus issues, right?
Yes, sinus pressure, lightheadedness, vertigo, just kind of feeling wonky, off balance. Obviously always go get yourself checked out. Like I always say, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional. Always, this is not medical advice, but knowing if you know that you're okay, you're keeping up in Virgo style with your vessel, it's more than likely the energies because they are. And on top of that, we've been having massive solar activity, crazy solar flares.
Yes.
The Schumann resonance is spiking. I mean, there's a lot going on. And
our planet is going through such an upgrade.
Massive upgrade. Yeah.
And that's what I want people to know. It's not just Gaia, Mother Earth. It's also us and our DNA. And so with Uranus and Gemini, and we kind of talked about this last time a little bit, and Pluto and Aquarius still making that trine, we're going to see a lot of our different gifts come online. The clairs, right? Mm-hmm. Clairaudience, claircognizance. Also, you may see even, where people start getting, hearing voices or mental telepathy.
Yes.
The supernatural, like things that we thought about, like in the Jetsons or in the superhero movies. Well, some of that, you guys, may be starting to happen literally to you. And so don't be afraid, breathe into it. And then even with this new moon, right, a lot of, I feel like we got to do a lot more walking, Lisa. I've been feeling that. Like I'm trying to put it in my alarm clock during the day as I'm working with clients and take a break. I always like the ground and earth and nature, but I'm like, I need to just walk more. I need to walk, make sure I'm getting my 30 minutes in, those steps, right? It's really helpful. And that can help with the Uranus energy a lot because when it's in Gemini, it's super fast moving.
Well, I was just going to say, for me, I know even if I have those days where I don't want to do it, I have this routine now because I'm a ritual person. So it's like once I get it in there, it's in my head, I'm doing it. So my routine has been every morning when right after I wake up and I do my gratitude prayers and all of that, I literally I get up, I have water with a little bit of sea salt. Good. I put on my weighted vest and I go for like a 2-mile walk. Before I have coffee, before I do anything else.
I love it.
And a lot of times
make sure that water is warm or hot water.
Oh, it's warm. It's not cold. No, it's warm. Okay. Filtered, warm, clean, with a little bit of sea salt. I do that. I've been trying to be very consistent with that every single morning.
That's awesome.
And it makes such a difference because
it does.
I don't want to wake up and go right to the computer. I don't want to wake up and go right to my calendar. I want to have that time to just connect, with myself, with nature, and not have the energy of tech.
We all need it. And it's so funny. the fact that you did it and put it in as a routine, and that's what I share with my clients, like when you do that, you set yourself up for success, and it really does make a difference.
It does.
In your daily practical life. That's all the sixth house stuff, you guys, in the birth chart. And it is so beneficial to your health. And it makes sense, right, that the sixth house is your work and daily routine, but it's also health and sicknesses and illnesses.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
You really
it all goes hand in hand.
Set yourself up for success. Yeah, that's awesome.
I want to share something because before we got on here, I was meditating and I kept seeing dolphins. So I said, I have to read. I kind of figure what the message is, but I just want to, everybody, the people that know me know that I'm obsessed with this dream book because it is so correct. When you dream of an animal and you go and you look it up, what it says psychologically that's going on, you can always apply it. So obviously we know dolphins rely on sonar, right? Dolphins,
they're sentient beings. Exactly. They're powerful.
And we're entering this time, Virgo Pisces here, for Pisces lunar eclipse. So I just want to share what the message is. If dolphin shows up, it means take a few minutes today to meditate while playing one of your favorite pieces of music. Listen more and talk less, especially to the more subtle levels of communication from other people and from the natural world. Think and behave more lovingly and positively toward that person you're having difficulty with. Smile more at others and notice how they smile back at you. Try dolphin breathing by taking 3 slow, deep breaths each time, exhaling with an audible puh sound. Then observe how you feel.
I love that.
Yeah. So I think that there's a lot to be said and it's so interesting because I constantly reiterate that message about extending grace and looking at situations with other people. And I have to remind myself to do it when I'm angry, I have to sit there and say, let me look at where this person's coming from. I know that their perception is not the same as mine. And the way they're looking at this situation is not the same as how I'm intuiting and interpreting it. So I have to be okay with that. I have to just accept that and come at the level of this is you, this is me, and we can still be, we can still speak and have a relationship, but I just have to, this is just not where I am right now. And that's okay. And I think being able to accept that's okay.
I love that. And, I think it's so important because we forget not just the dolphins, the whales, certain animals, the connections that we have with them, right? And they kind of outlaw us connecting with the dolphins because it's been scientifically proven that they actually help when women are pregnant.
Yes.
Right. It's really sending, and they've monitored children that have higher levels of intelligence. If a woman is around a baby in the water when she's pregnant, and the dolphins will attract and come towards a woman. It's really powerful. And one thing I love about kind of like this energy and where we're at, like, this is also exactly what you say in the dreams. People are connecting to dolphins, to fairies, mermaids. They're seeing these little things and these creatures. And I think that a lot of this stuff is going to start to become into our reality, right? There's clips and things that people are seeing all over the world. Some we don't know if it's real or not, but sometimes you take people at their word and, people are seeing stuff, there's, obviously rumors of different ships and aliens and beings and stuff. And, and then even some, obviously, they've had conferences and things. They just had something the other day down in DC, like talking about UAPs again and stuff like that. So, what I hope for the collective is that we don't get kind of misled or, caught up in a lie where it's a false flag event or like any Project Bluebeam stuff, So we've got to stay grounded in reality. And that's why our friend Saturn is coming back, right? Right after the moon and then the first eclipse and then the second eclipse, it's like, it's a perfect timing. And, for Saturn that's a long transit, September 1st to literally February 20th, right? 2026. So 26, Saturn is, it's really coming here to say, make sure it's real. Make sure you're being kind and compassionate. Make sure you're having your gratitude like Lisa in the morning before you leave your bed, right? Find and for everybody watching, right? Find your little niche routine, whatever it is. If it's, drinking your hot water or drinking hot lemon water or going for the walk or, whatever it is. But when you do that, you really honor Saturn in your spiritual daily practice. And, you know, a lot of people don't realize this, Lisa, but it's so true, right? Saturn wants to give us more rewards and blessings than Jupiter and Venus ever can.
Yep.
It's just you got to respond and honor it. Yeah.
He gives us the side eye to make sure we're not cutting any corners.
That's like your old grandpa, like,
right.
You call that a clean kitchen, boy?
Right.
You know?
I'm not proud to admit this, but in a way I am. I mean, Saturn, I always refer to him as the misunderstood miser, because my whole life I had Saturn on my back and I just could always feel the weight of Saturn. And now I look at it as like a liberating energy, that it liberated me because it forced me to recognize what I needed to do to get out of my own way. Yes. Time and time again. And I'm always looking to bust through it. I'm not looking to bypass it. So for me, I had to do it, you know, so
that's beautiful.
Yeah. So I don't mind Saturn. We need Saturn. And like you said, he wants to be good to us. So,
and he's that karmic teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. So are we going to jump into the rising signs? Or?
Yes. Why am I glitching? Did you see that?
Yeah. And your mic just went up for a second. That was interesting.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. My tech's been a little bit, my stuff's been a little wonky the last few days. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
but you can hear me okay?
Yeah, we still have, right? Chiron, Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto retrograde. So
now I don't hear you.
I'm still here.
You hear me clear?
Yeah, I hear you good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll go into the signs here. Okay, so let's and just real quick before we go into the signs. Yeah, see, I have an echo. I don't know what's going on. Hold on. How's that?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. I forgot what I was going to say because I got...
Well, you were setting the stage before we go into the rising signs.
Yeah. Oh, before we go into the rising signs, what we were saying about routines, because I saw a couple of comments in the chat that said that, you know, I'm not good at this. I don't take care of my health. This is the perfect season to get clear with that, Virgo.
And so get really better at it. Yes.
Yeah. Think about it. Write down your goals, what you want to do, how, you know, what you're willing to do to get to that, and start small, baby steps. You don't have to go all in. I think that's a mistake we all make. We feel like we have to do it all at one time. Nope. And we can't. So baby steps, because that's what's going to, yeah, Eric, your volume just totally decreased. I don't know what's going on.
Really?
Oh, there you are. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, no, and you're so right about the baby steps, because it's one day at a time, and little steps is how you kind of, like the little train could, right?
Yeah.
Be the turtle, don't be the bunny rabbit.
Exactly.
And just one day at a time, slow steps, and then that's how you build, right? Repetition, you know, is the key to ownership. That's what I always say to my boys. So when you kind of just do it do it Monday, then show up again Tuesday.
Yeah.
You do it for like 3 minutes, and then you do the 4 and 5, and then all of a sudden you got a routine, and your life has changed before you know it, right? What do they say? It takes like 21 days to create a habit. Yeah,
exactly. So try it for Virgo season. You know, try that 21 day. Give yourself that, and if you miss a day or you mess up, you can go right back to it.
Yeah, exactly. Do not beat yourself up. The Virgo South Node is telling you to literally be kinder to yourself. Stop being so nitpicky and critical of yourself and others, and retire from negative self-talk. You've got to. Be kind to yourself, people.
And remembering that, I always say this with Virgo energy, perfection is not possible. And imperfection is where we find our perfection. Think about that. So vibe
I like
on
to
that.
say I'm perfectly imperfect.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So, okay, let's talk about this lunar eclipse that's coming up on September 7th, because this is activating, well, it's reactivating, it's reopening a door or a chapter that started last August, September, okay? So, and also just to bring it to Pisces again with Saturn, when we get to February of next year, we're going to get our first eclipse in, I think it's Leo, right? Because we start the Leo Aquarius, and then it bounces back into Pisces again. So there's going to be movement forward again in early 2026, and sort of like reevaluation again. So it's just
the
like
eclipses always do that for people that know that. Just like we had it earlier this year, we still had that little closing of the Aries Libra eclipses. Yeah.
Yes, and it's important to also know that with eclipses, it's not a one and done energy. So the eclipse comes and you're like, wow, nothing happened. I don't feel any different. That's not how it works, because the changes can either be boom quick like that, sweeping, or they span over, it could be over the course of 6 months even before you start to really
literally
see
6 months. Yep.
The changes. So, okay, so let's start with our air. Well, we always say follow your rising sign for most accuracy. I use Placidus for personal reading, so I'm just, because you want to know where the degree falls, because I'm going to just quickly give you an example as to why that's so important. I have Gemini rising. The first 2 eclipses here are happening in my 11th house, because I have Pisces in my 10th and 11th. So it starts in my 11th. Next year, they go back into my 10th. So you have to know where the degrees fall in your chart, okay? Again, it's in that how-to video. It's free. It's quick. You can pull it up and check it out. If you are Aries rising, these eclipses are activating your 12th house and your 6th house, okay? So this is the houses of health and service. That's the Virgo Pisces houses. So if you have got Aries rising, this is where the energies are falling for you, and it's asking you to get really serious about your health on all levels. Spiritual health, physical health. What you do when the lights are on, what you do when the lights are off. Behind the scenes, are you in your integrity? Are you being honest with yourself and then with others, so that you can truly lead the way you want to, the Aries? And in the 12th, it's also asking you to honor your spiritual nature, to honor your intuition, to not be afraid of it or to shun it. Eric, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, well, I think it's also a great time to literally start your dream book. You know, if you've never done one, it can be very powerful, because there's a lot of messages from your spirit guides, your higher self, God, source, creator, your guardian angels. So with the Pisces lunar eclipse being in that 12th house, it's where during our day we can get more intentional, right, about the hot water, the fruit, the fasting, eating with the circadian rhythms of the sun. But then 12th house at night in the bedroom, we can really, tap into our journaling, right? Automatic writing, our spiritual practice, our meditation before we go to bed, connecting with our crystals, things like that. And that can be extremely beneficial. So for Aries risings, you can search the Pisces crystals and put one next to your hip or thigh and put one under your pillow. It may really, help you to integrate into your higher self and your spiritual routine.
Awesome. I always find amethyst is a really good one to sleep next to with under your pillow, and also selenite. I always find those two to be very divinely connected.
Well, and also I want to tell you something that's really nice too about this Pisces lunar eclipse. We kind of have got, like you mentioned earlier, right? Jupiter is still going to be in that trine to the North Node.
Yes.
And then you also have Lilith in Scorpio.
Yep.
So you kind of really have like this it's almost like being in the flow and really activating the opportunity to jump into new spiritual practices, to continue to awaken your emotional intelligence and the divine feminine. So I think that's going to be beautiful too.
Yeah. And also with with this lunar eclipse, remember that it could be that, because it's an eclipse, something from the outside spurs activity in these areas. So you might not be sitting there trying to do it yourself, and then you're almost like pushed into this whirlwind of these energies. Just know that it's right on schedule with your divine plan. So, because think about it, with your chart, that is your divine blueprint that you set up. If you believe in the past life theory, which of course I do, I know you do, Eric.
Oh yeah, it's the map of your life and the remembrance of your soul. Lisa and I, we just we're like these spiritual tour guides, taking you through what you selected before you came here.
Right.
You came through the first house, the portal of your mother's womb.
Yeah.
That's the first house, right? So we're kind of like the decoders of it, of what you already chose.
And I always tell my clients, remember, our journey doesn't start the day we're born. It starts in utero. It does. Totally. It starts because, anyway, we could go on another tangent, but let's go back. Let's start with Taurus rising now. Let's go to Taurus. Okay, Taurus. Taurus rising, this lunar eclipse is going to be in your 11th house, opposite your 5th, which this is going to pull a lot of focus onto your friendships. So if you got that friend that's draining you psychically and you've been trying to cut that off for the last 5 years, well, guess what? The universe might hand you the scissors now, and you don't have to worry about it because you've been hanging on by a thread and it's time. Or maybe the other person does it for you and you're like, whew, hallelujah. That was, I was struggling with that. I was feeling sensitive about it. I didn't want to hurt them. And so now the universe is going to come in and potentially do it for you. Also, it could focus on areas surrounding your creative projects, your any group efforts that you're involved in, your community, anything that you're working with online, even any projects, networking, all could be under, this eclipse energy for you, where things are getting stirred up and opportunities could be coming in, but not without endings first. So we have to be, because I know our Taurus don't really love that change thing. I like to hang on. So just know where you've been hanging on too tightly, where the energy needs to shift. This is a gateway for that. You just have to trust, which is, challenging, right?
No, totally. And I love that. And I think also you may find new spiritual communities online, or meetup groups or organizations that you wind up becoming a part of, even nonprofits, the opportunity to start those. And as far as the creativity with the fifth house, maybe it's something that you're launching or taking a new, like astrology or numerology or tarot class, or learning to become a Reiki master. But it also could be things, if you do have children, things that you've got to, and I've been telling this a lot, people lately, whether we have kids or we have nieces or nephews, let's not leave the next generation out.
Right.
If you're doing all this spiritual work, start to sprinkle and slowly introduce it to your children, because especially if they're, like I think of the 13 and under, the alpha generation, but even some of these younger Gen Zs, they're really more spiritually mature than you could ever imagine.
Yes.
And so you need to start to introduce certain things to them, because they may just like take to it like a moth to the light and really love it. So this is the opportunity, especially for Taurus risings, to do some integration work with that.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's interesting too, because on just recently, my 12-year-old niece was expressing an interest in tarot cards. And she's, can you teach me? And I said, sure. And I actually sat with her and I taught her the major arcana, and she picked it up right away. And I was like, okay, now we'll have another lesson on the wands, but I'm trying, but she is into it, and I'm sure she's going to be great at it because she's super in tune, so it's, and
she's 12. There you go.
Right.
Perfect example.
Exactly. Now, Gemini rising.
Oh yeah.
For Gemini rising, it is your 10th house of your work, your public life, your public I can't speak, your public sphere, what you're doing out in the world. If you don't have a career or even, a job, that's fine. But it's whatever you're doing that you're known for somehow. And also what you would like to be known for. So you may be feeling really frustrated, like you're not getting ahead, and these opportunities could be coming back around for you. Opposite your 4th house of personal life and family and foundation, there could be this dynamic of the imbalance being really, really pointed out to you as to why you're not maybe where you want to be necessarily, because something's not in balance. So there will be some illumination there for you with that. Also, opportunities. You may lose an opportunity, but guess what? Don't fret, because another one that's better for you, is better aligned for you, is going to come through. So don't, like my grandmother used to say, don't cry over spilled milk, not to minimize it, but just know that anything that goes under this energy without your participation is meant to go. And that just means there's something more aligned for you coming in. So it's really important for our Gemini risings, personally and professionally.
I love that. And, I think that Pisces in the 10th and having the eclipse there could be, maybe finding your dream job, or kind of like, closing a chapter, ending a certain position or job you were doing. But because Lisa is an amazing Gemini rising, I really love that Virgo South Node, because she just spoke about it earlier, you guys. Get out there in your garden. The Virgo South Node in the 4th house for Gemini risings, that's like, hey, at your home, get your hands in the soil and the dirt, and start cleaning, like you said, right? So you've been doing it, cleaning your home, right? And cleaning the home, taking things and getting your hands in the soil, eating your fruit, getting your fruits and veggies. That's literally that for Gemini rising. So I think it's actually apropos that it's no accident that you said that earlier. It's perfect.
No, of course not. It never is, right?
And also, you could even get into some new spiritual practices at home. So that could be really connecting, or even like go out there in your backyard and talk to your tree.
I do that. I'm not lying. I talk to everything. I swear it works. It's energy. But you'll even notice like plants in your house, if you have house plants. Yeah. Eventually, they like hold hands. I know that sounds bad. If you know, If you're a plant mommy, in the chat, tell me. But I see it all the time. It's like they feed off of each other, and intuitively, I'll know that one doesn't belong in one spot and I'll move it and then it'll start thriving again. It's like,
Well,
it's
did
wild.
you hear they just did research and studies on that the plants can measure when you're up to, I think, like a mile or two away from your house, because they know that you're the one that takes care of it. They can sense you returning.
Yeah,
just like
that's
dogs.
amazing.
Plants are like,
Yeah.
oh my God, yeah.
I love
Plants
it.
and trees are sentient beings. Like, I mean,
Absolutely.
the mycelium network, all of it.
Yep. Love that.
Amazing.
Okay, let's go to our Cancer risings. So, and I'm sorry, again, I saw a comment come up. Does it not affect our sun sign at all? No, it does. But the rising sign, the reason we follow that is because that actually sets the whole entire
Chart.
technical calculation of your chart.
Where
But
the
yes,
Virgo
listen
Pisces
to your
axis
sun
is.
sign as well. Yeah. Okay. Cancer rising. For you, it is going to be your 9th house opposite your 3rd. So we're talking, this is, I think, big for Cancer rising because it's very expansive. And it might feel small at first, but in time you'll realize the bigness of what you're setting up for yourself for the future. But a lot of it has to do with, if you're continuing education somehow, going for some form of certification, if you want to learn something new, astrology, astronomy, whatever it is, this is a fabulous time to put that out there and see what comes back or what comes in. And then also if you're writing, if you're doing any kind of expressive work, even just using your voice will be feeling different. Like you're utilizing your own voice, your throat chakra differently. This is a great energy for Cancer rising to really try to do anything new. And again, I mean, anything of a spiritual nature, which is pretty much everything and anything, right? It's also a good time to plan a trip. Think about, go on that spiritual retreat. If you can't do it this year, plan it for next year, but know that putting down the steps, laying down the bricks will eventually get you there. It will build the foundation. So I think that this is going to be a pretty powerful cycle for our Cancer risings.
Yeah, no, I love that. And, one thing that they can really do as well is maybe they meet in South Node, 3rd house. They may need to unfollow some people in their local community or friends, or separate from any toxic friend groups. Maybe have that tough conversation with your sibling or cousin that, like, hey, listen, remember last year at grandma's birthday party, how you showed up all late and then you kind of left early and you were a little drunk, like whatever. I mean, I'm giving you a whole scenario, but seriously, it could be.
Are you not telling us something? No.
No, it surely wasn't me, but that's the thing that, the South Node, it wants things to be right. And if it's not, it's like Mars. You got to cut it off. You got to separate and cut it. And so things can really be illuminated. And then, in that 9th house, everything Lisa said, but also it could be, like you were saying too, an opportunity to take a new class, but also to teach one. And maybe it's time for Cancer risings to finish your book or start writing the book you've always said, oh, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a book. Well, especially if you're 44, 56, come on, get at it. It's time.
Yeah.
Like, write your book. So, this is really a powerful thing. And remember, the 9th house is our fortune and luck and abundance. So something good could be happening. Maybe you win a trip somewhere, right?
Right.
Or someone invites you and say, hey, I'm going on a cruise. Like, do you want to come? And I've got some discounts. And you're like, yeah, I'll go. So just embrace it and be open, It really could be a wonderful time.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, because I always say, if you can keep yourself in the vibration of recognizing when you're, when you're spiritually clean, which meaning, listen, we all have our things, nobody is perfect or immune from anything. But if you know that you're living in the highest possible truth for yourself and for others that you can be, you can only do so much to control anything here. And that's one of the stronger lessons of the Virgo South Node in these eclipses, is it's saying you do your part and then you let us, spirit, take the wheel for you. And you just stay in that vibe and you just keep putting out that energy of compassion and positivity. And it's not about spiritual bypassing, but it's about being in a state of flow and receive, and recognizing that when things don't go the way you want them to, it's often, I always say, it's divine protection and redirection. That's it. Like, that's what rejection is.
You may see that come out later. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so then for our Leo risings, This can feel a little bit like, I feel like for Leo rising, it's going to feel more like, it's going to be almost too intense for you. And in the way of your own psychology, you know, thinking about your past, thinking about your childhood, thinking about your most intimate relationships, the way you might have blocked that or been too much so with certain situations and people in your life. And then also too, this could have to do with your money, you know, in a big way with your investments and any inheritances that could be a part of your reality right now. With eclipses, I've seen this happen. I've seen where people have had a family member pass away and they weren't close with them, and all of a sudden they get like thousands of dollars from the person. It's like a windfall comes in and they're not expecting that. I'm not saying that's going to happen for the Leo risings here. It could, but it just means sometimes it's like that unexpected moment that pulls you back and makes you see life totally different. There's something very transformative about this eclipse cycle for the Leo risings, but it feels very personal.
I love that. And I think Leo risings, you know, we have family and we have relatives. And sometimes we have to protect and guard our energy. Right. And so sometimes we have to be like, hey, mom, dad, sibling, you know, that second house, the family, right? Sometimes we have to be like, listen, I choose to guard and protect my energy, and I'm not going to let you just dog me out anymore. And so I'm not coming home for the holidays. You know, that can literally come up and be a thing as this eclipse season comes up. But at the same time, like you said, with the inheritances, also, you know, the 8th house for Leo risings, this may be where Leo risings kind of like start noticing things a little differently and like, you know what is meditation? What's Reiki? What's astrology, numerology? They may start to like, oh, what's, you know, what is, you know, ashwagandha, or, you know, what are these crystals, right? Because the 8th house really holds the energy of the crystals and the gems and the herbs and things that are hidden underground. Also the ancient wisdom and knowledge. So Leo risings, they may be, you know, starting to reach out to Lisa Salvatore or Biggie Astrology and be like, what did you say about astrology? I want to learn. And so, you know, this is really an interesting time for Leo risings, but they definitely could also deal with, you know, even if you're married, your spouse, something could get illuminated at their career. Maybe they get a promotion and a raise as well. So try to just be optimistic, but be ready, because whatever it is, you're going to notice it maybe more than other signs, Leo rising.
Definitely. And just another, as we're going along, other things are pinging. Important to also note that full moons are always a release point, and an eclipse is an accelerator of release. But then we have the next eclipse, the solar eclipse, coming in on the 21st of September, and that's a new moon in Virgo. New moons are always about what's coming in. But because this is an eclipse and it's at the 29th degree of Virgo, it's also an ending. So it's almost like this story, it's this maturation of a story. That's why I want everybody to really pay attention to this time period, because it's going to be, the word that keeps coming to me is stunning. And I don't know why, but that's just how I keep, like, I just think a lot of people are going to be feeling like they finally, even if they have to walk through the fire in some capacity, they're finally feeling like they can let go and just be and say, holy moly, I'm finally here.
On the other side.
On the other side of this, you know, and even if you're not totally there yet, you see it. It's like that light coming in. So I just want to stress that, because it's like the endings, and then the beginnings, but it's not just immediate. It's taking time. So recognize the steps. Okay.
It's a good book.
Speaking of which, then we get to Virgo. So Virgo. I know you're all already feeling it. You've been feeling it. The South Node's been in Virgo. This new moon coming up in a couple days here in Virgo. There's a big energy about the others in your life, of others of all kinds. Every relationship you can think of, whether it's business, whether it's platonic, you know, your marriage. All of that has been feeling like it's uprooted, upgraded, all systems reboot. And the wisest thing you can do is to let it be and make sure that you're tapping into your spiritual side just as much as you're tapping into your logical side, because you have to follow the dreams just as much as you vibe on the practicality. Because when you lean too much one way, that's what this time period is trying to show you. It's like that song, Do You Believe in Magic? You know, you have to honor the energy, or it's not going to come in the way you want it to. because you're obsessing too much over the fact that, well, how can this be? I need to have this explained to me. This needs to be, it's so funny. I know a lot of strong Virgos that they're very spiritual and they're very gifted with their intuition. And they always have to try to, oh no, but I need it to make sense. I can't just look at a chart and give a psychic impression, or I can't just touch someone and tell them this energy center is not functioning properly. I have to be able to prove it to them, and that's where you sometimes lose the magic.
It's a challenge for Virgos, and that's why I always say, like, I'm sort of like a retiring or recovering Virgo, healed Virgo, because we are so heavy mental.
Yeah.
And it's a challenge. But one thing I've seen with this Virgo South Node, because I have one of my sons with it, the South Node in Virgo and the Ascendant, it's also been bringing a new level of maturity. Now, if you're already grown and mature, but, for a 16-year-old, it's really awesome to see as an astrology dad. It's kind of awesome, and I think cool. The South Node has been kind of like bringing in a little bit more like introspection, a little contemplating, kind of like pausing and like saying, well, that's not as fun as it used to be. And like, and I'm just like sitting there watching and like, is that you? Is that my son? Like, it's right. Kind of cool. And one thing I want, the first house is, right, your aura, your physical appearance, your outer mask. And so, like you said, illuminating things in the house of the others, the seventh house, this whole little dance of 0-15-29 from August 23rd to September 21st, Virgo Pisces, it's going to be spiritual and physical like ping pong.
Yeah. It's exhausting.
And you're going to have to kind of like, lean with it and then kind of like rock with it. Like, you're going to find where sometimes you're over dealing with and experiencing and engaging with the other half. But then there'll be times where you've got to kind of separate and kind of do for yourself and check in with yourself and make sure you're eating a little bit better and doing things. So it's going to be really fascinating. But I think that it will definitely put the Virgo risings on a place where they can't just be always in their head analytically.
Right.
They're going to have to engage with some compassion and spirituality and all that. So it'll be fascinating.
And Pisces always wants to merge, where Virgo wants to purge. So it's like, how do we?
I love that.
We got to kind of find.
That sounds like a T-shirt.
Yeah, that is a good T-shirt. If you think about it, the opposite signs, I always say this, they're two sides to a coin. They're very similar. They just come at the same path, totally different. They take different paths to come to the same place, to put it that way.
Exactly. Different perspectives, but they have the same intention and the same outcome mostly.
Yes. Yes. So, okay, then we move to Libra. Libra rising. So for Libra, it's the 6th house and the 12th. So the good thing about this for you is that if you can be in your routine, really be paying attention to what's making, because Libra's all about the balance, right? We want everything to be in harmony. And if you're a Libra rising, Libra's your first house of your body, your vessel, right? It's also, now it's yourself. And then this eclipse is going to be hitting your 6th house of your health and your habits and your daily, how are you living your daily life? Are you serving others just to serve them, to please them, or are you doing it out of a space of genuine service? So it's important to really check in, because you will find that if you're not doing that, then that 12th house energy is going to become stronger and louder, and you're going to start to feel like you're spinning out of control and you can't handle the energies and it's too much and what's happening. I feel like I'm all over the place. Well, you are, because you're not coming back to center and recognizing where you're not calibrating. So it's really, really important to get those daily routines down and to question everything that you're doing on the day-to-day and how it's contributing, not only to the greater good, but to your greater good. It's really, really important. I also feel, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I also feel like with Libra, there's something about like the hidden enemy dynamic with work, when it comes to work situations. So watch for that. The people that you think are in your corner that you might intuitively be feeling that they're not, you're probably right. So honor your intuition. Because again, remember that 12th house is the unconscious. That's the psychic house. It doesn't give you explanations. It just tells you. And it's up to you whether you follow it or not. So
some deception at work, that could definitely be on the agenda, and it could come to light that someone's been talking about you. And I remember working in a school, and oh my gosh, that's a lot of drama in schools. And I think also you could see Libra risings, adopting a dog or a cat.
Oh yeah,
You could see them, wanting to bring in, and have compassion and such empathy for like a stray dog or cat, or, bringing one in for their child, things like that. You know, there's really an opportunity though for Libra risings to kind of really tap in and lock in a new spiritual routine and practice too.
Absolutely.
One thing I would recommend for the Libra risings, maybe you take that Epsom salt bath and bring in some shungite, but I want you to, 6 houses health, Pisces feet. I want you to, like, when you get out of the tub, just sit there with a little bit with some lotion and just love on your feet and your toes. And then later on, you can send me the thank you note because they're going to appreciate it. It's going to be a good one. Okay. So yeah, that definitely is something, because listen, people, I mean, I say it kind of like joking, but no, not at all really, because a lot of human beings, they neglect their feet, Lisa.
Yes.
We got to walk on these things all the time.
That's true.
That's so true. Like, it's really something that, like, take care of them. Like, they're important.
When I went to get a pedicure a few weeks ago, my girl was like, what have you been doing? She's like, your feet are terrible. I walk barefoot all the time. She goes, where? On hot coal? And I was like, the pavement has been hot. So, I mean, I'm always barefoot. So her reaction was hysterical. She's like, what are you doing to your feet?
Hey, but that's good. You tell her, say, I'm connecting to the Schumann resonance.
I'm an earth mom. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, there was one other thing. Oh, when you mentioned the pets, I always have to say this because, and please don't panic anybody, but this is a thing with eclipses. You'll find during eclipse portals, you'll hear of passings a lot more. And a lot of times it's the animals, the animal world. So it's like, and usually it's, most of the time, it's coming. It has to be done. So if one leaves your life, just trust that spirit will bring you the next one. That the spirit of your, the new one will come in. Because I see that happen a lot. So I just want to share that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But let's vibe on the fact that you're getting a new one, not losing one, right?
That's right.
So I just got to give all the possibilities, right? Now, oh my gosh, where are we? Scorpio. Thank you. Sorry. You start that one. It's your rising sign.
Well, now we're going to the 5th and 11th house axis. So, wow, Scorpio risings, having, as I mentioned earlier, a little bit of that grand water trine with the Lilith and then the Jupiter in the 9th, Lilith on the ascendant, Vesta's there as well. There could be literally things being illuminated, right? And even getting into playing more and having more fun and more games. Maybe shedding the light and connecting spiritually, right? I'm going to bring out the sound bowls and the crystals with my boys. But also it's where, hey, I don't ever really play the lottery. I could get me a little scratch off,
Yeah.
So, or maybe I do really well on my fantasy football draft, and my fantasy football team this year it does really well. I'm looking forward to that. So these are some of the types of things, but it can also, get into, 5th house is also dealing with learning and education. So there could be teaching a new course or signing up for something new or taking that hobby and making it into a speculative gain, starting your Etsy, your Shopify, your eBay business or whatever you're doing, that can happen. You got to be mindful. Sometimes in the 11th house, Virgo South Node, you could see some of the fake friends that you literally have to cut off.
Yeah. Oh, and Scorpio's cutoff game is tight.
Oh, yeah. Listen, when you cross the Scorpio rising, you just...
Taurus too, you're opposite. Yeah,
you shouldn't do it, okay? Yeah. It's like Scorpio rising is like, don't start none, it won't be none.
Exactly.
But if you start it, it's kind of like the Aries sun sign. But with the 11th house, I think there too, there can also be a lot of being of service to people online, like I think about for me, right? I'll be really, kind of in the trenches, really helping clients and stuff over the internet. And so a lot of Virgo risings, maybe you do find kind of like your tribe over the internet, or maybe you do say, you know what, I want to volunteer and help out this new nonprofit, and there's a shelter for like single moms and kids, and I'm going to donate some things. Well, then go do it, because the energy in the universe is like kind of aligning to help you, to support you in these endeavors. So have at it, because it is good spiritual karma. And but just be mindful that there could be some things, but it's also an opportunity to close chapters too, not just with those fake friends, but like if you felt like you were involved in the wrong group or organization, right? Or you're dealing with, sometimes some older siblings that are negative towards you, you can kind of like say, hey, not anymore.
Right. Absolutely. And let's not forget that, Scorpio, what else is the fifth house in the most lighthearted way? It's fun. It's romance. If you're in the market for that, it's sex. And that's Scorpio. That's the sign here. So maybe this is time for you to get your sexy back. You know what I mean? It's like, if you got Scorpio rising, it could be you finding new ways to bring fun back into your life in a different way, especially if you've been feeling, like your creative life force.
Go see a play.
Right, exactly. Because a lot of people don't realize that our creative energy and our sexual energy are so linked. So it's like
totally.
So it's all there. That's the fifth house right there.
So you know what makes me laugh? That's why I always tell people, like, the fifth house. That's why Venus is in its planetary joy, because it's the seed of life. Venus is actually sperm.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like, the same energy you use, right, to create life, you can use for your creativity and write a song, a poem. So.
Absolutely. Perfect. Absolutely. Okay, so then let's go to Sagittarius. Sagittarius rising. It is your fourth house. So this is going to feel personal, private, maybe even. It could have something to do with emotional revelations. You may be finding things out about family or reinventing new ways to deal with family dynamics, family situations. This could be, the family that you've chosen. It could be your family of origin. It could be your mother. There could be things, even whether she's here or departed, there could be a lot of focus on the earlier years, your foundation, how you got to where you are today. Maybe some of you are thinking of even looking into the lineage at a deeper level, doing some DNA testing, or finding that sibling that is out there that you lost contact with, or if you were adopted, looking into there's all of that could be coming up. Or you may find that the universe brings them to you. Like all of a sudden somebody seeks you out and says, hey, you're my half brother, or you're my friend. You never know, right? These things happen all the time.
Totally. Happened to me at 18 years old.
See? And then opposite the 10th, it could also be new opportunities for your public, your job, new jobs, new opportunities, new members of the family. Many ways it could play out. But it will feel, because remember the 4th and 10th houses are angular. So I always say that's Action Jackson time, especially if it's like really close to the angles. That's where things happen. That's where we have things happen. So.
Yeah. Well, they're the pillars of the chart, right? First, 4th, 7th, and 10th. And,
the backbones.
One thing I think about this axis is that, Sag risings, they're on the go, right? They like to move. I've got a couple of family members of Sag rising. And
do you know what I say about Sag? They wear roller skates. Sag placements wear roller skates.
This will make you laugh. Any Sagittarius sun signs in here? I literally watch them do this. When they're like talking on the cell phone, they can't be still. They have to like move.
Fidget,
They're always moving. It's so funny. And I love the Sagittarius energy. So, one thing that could be happening too is, how like we have these groups where you join like a food corp or something? That can happen with the Virgo South Node 10th house, where maybe you decide with a couple of neighbors, right? Because I always say, especially in these times, right?
Yeah.
If I have blueberries and strawberries and you have broccoli and kale, we trade, then we both have fruits and vegetables.
Know your people, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So that could find your food corp and, things like that in your community. It could be opportunities for bringing in some new things, and maybe you actually, let's say if you've never had it, or you decide, I want to get some new crystals in the home. Quite literally, right? With the Pisces, but also I recommend for Sag risings, that Pisces 4th house, especially with this energy. But even if you have some personal planets there, maybe it could be a good time for you to actually get a water feature in the home, because that water, just watching the water flow, can actually help you with your spiritual practice, but calm the spiritual mind too, and just calm your emotional mind. So think about things like that, and you also may need to just say, I'm not working at this job anymore.
Yes.
Adios. I'm gone. I'm done.
Or you get laid off, and look at it as a blessing. I had that happen to me in 2015, and I'm telling you, it's at the time I thought it was the end of my world, and it was the biggest blessing. So you don't see it at the time, but it ends up being, it puts you on where you need to be.
And
on
especially with eclipses. That's why Lisa's saying that, you guys, because it seems like a tragedy at first, but it may be the greatest gift you've ever received. Because you wouldn't have left without it.
Exactly. It wouldn't have, this is how it had to happen, or you would have never done it yourself. Usually, in most cases. So now, let's see. Why am I having a hard time thinking tonight? Capricorn, the third house. So again, this could be, I feel like for our Capricorn risings, a lot of this is focusing on family dynamics, using the voice differently. And more than that, it's also about having those conversations that you've been avoiding to help to move you forward, because they're actually blocking your creative process. Think about it. I know a lot of times people don't realize that you think because you don't talk to someone that doesn't mean that's okay. It doesn't have any kind of repercussions, but it's living in you as it's stagnant energy, right? And then what happens is it kind of sometimes can block the flow of your creative energy or your ability to express yourself. So I think for Capricorn rising, a lot of this is going to be focused on. Also, it can have to do with your community, the community that you're a part of, where you live, your neighbors, the people that you're kind of interacting with on the daily. And colleagues are a part of that as well. So there's a lot of focus on the way you're expressing yourself and connecting with people. And if you've been avoiding that, it's going to come to light that you need to, maybe step it up a little bit, so that you're not wallowing in this space of melancholy, because that's a shadowy state of the Cap energy, Cap rising, because it's Saturn. It's like, I always say that's kind of the Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh energy sometimes. Like we can't get out of our own way even though we want to, and we're just working. So it's important to leave time for play also.
And they feel such a strong obligation, Cap risings, to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially, I mean, maybe not as much as kids, but when they get like 21 and over, they put a lot of pressure for status, success, achievement.
Yeah.
They put a lot of goal, they're like, oh, I got to reach this goal at this time. And it's like, whoa, chill out. So I think one thing that I like about the Virgo South node, and obviously that later eclipse at 29 degrees there, this kind of goes back to what we talked about earlier for the Cancer rising, but it literally can be publishing. But it also could be a confrontation, like if you, like you were saying, go back to school, but like, even your kids that may have this in college, they may have to have a tough conversation with their professor, about a subject or things like that. Or maybe they're switching schools. Maybe you've got a student athlete and they're like, going into like the, getting the money and the IL stuff and all that stuff. But, one thing that made me think about when you're talking about the third house with the lunar eclipse, Capricorn risings, they may find their little spiritual community. Maybe they find a metaphysical or crystal shop or the cool yoga studio that just opened up down the block. And they're like, oh my God, I've always, and so, or maybe they decide to take literally a class, right, for Reiki or a mediumship course. So these are things that Capricorn, they may not think about always pursuing or doing, but it just kind of like, with the eclipses, it just kind of manifests. And like you said, you get pulled into it. Yeah. And maybe it's a friend in the local community. It's like, hey, come here with me tonight, or let's check this out. And then you go and you're changed forever. Yeah. So be ready for that, Cap rising, because it can really, 3rd and 9th, it could shake some things up for you that you're not, expecting at all. And having you use your voice, putting your message out into the world differently as well. Maybe they start, you find yourself pulled into podcasting when you're like, I don't want to do that. It could be something like that. And all of a sudden you're doing it and you don't even know how it happened. Welcome to eclipse season, right? I love it. Aquarius. Yes. For our Aquarius, it is the 2nd house. So this is going to pull a lot of focus onto the way you feel about yourself, about your body, about your mind, about everything, and what you're valuing, whom you're valuing, where you're placing your energy. You remember your energy is your currency. And I feel like for Aquarius rising, there's such a strong theme of that lately, opposite the 8th. It's like, where have you been depleting your reserves? Where have you been in such a state of maybe grief for so long that you've pushed away a part of yourself. And now it's time, it's like you're being reborn. There's a part of you that's being reborn with these eclipses. And you really recognizing how far you've come, how empowered you are. Pluto in Aquarius now. We've got the support of Uranus. It's like They got a lot.
I'm a
going
badass. You know, like that's the energy for Aquarius rising. Like I'm on my track now. I'm ready to do the work. You know, I recognize where I've gone wrong, and I'm ready to walk that path now.
This is a powerful time for Aquarius risings.
It
right?
is.
Pluto on the ascendant to 2044. No matter what age they're at, they're not going to be the same person by that
No,
time.
definitely not.
And you know, having this in the second, eighth house, you know, there could be also a loss of family or an inheritance again. It could just look a little differently, right, than the Leo risings. But there also could be, you know, maybe tapping in where you're like, hey, I want to be a doula. I want to be a deaf doula. I want to be an ER nurse or an EMS driver. I want to be a midwife. You know, there could be, you know, where even some gifts could come online where you start hearing messages from the other side.
Right.
And, you know, that could be really powerful. And don't be surprised. Like, this could literally happen. And then at the same time, you're going to find your intuition is going to become so much higher. And you got to really tap into watching how you speak, right? Second house is our throat chakra, our speech. Speak more kindly, have more compassion and empathy. But realize that you're going to also, like, things will be illuminated where you start hearing people talk to you and you're like hearing what they really are saying, not the words coming out of their mouths, the intention behind it, and on a whole nother psychic level. So it could be, this is definitely going to be, with these alignments and then the trine to Uranus, Aquarius risings, get ready. This eclipse, you and Virgos and some of these other ascendants, it's going to hit you, and you're gonna go through a lot of transformation.
Yeah. And let's not forget that Aquarius is, the co-ruler of Aquarius is Uranus, and Uranus is clairaudience and also telepathy to an extent. So the clairs, all the abilities are really coming online in a much stronger manner, especially for Aquarius rising.
Strap on in, Aquarius.
Yeah. Yep. And last but certainly not least are our Pisces rising. So this is big for Pisces because it's your essence, it's your energy, it's your vibe, it's your flavor, it's what do you want to do? Like, let's look at that. Let's define that. What do we want to do, and what and whom do I need to walk away from to keep me in my truth, my soul-centered truth? If you're not on the track that you know that you are divinely guided to be on, well, let's just say someone, that invisible hand, the divine
universe
hand.
Will make it happen.
Yeah, exactly. It's spin you up, drop you down, and now you're in a whole new reality. But you'll find that it's like what dreams are made of, right? But you have to vibe on it. You really do.
I love that. And, you know, having that eclipse and the moon in your ascendant, you're going to find, too, people are going to start to see you as the healer, the guru, the shaman. People are going to be, like, around the eclipse 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after, 6 months, just verbally vomiting their life story on you. I mean, you're Pisces rising, so you're already a shapeshifter. You already feel like an alien on this planet. But I think this eclipse is, in some way, will make you feel less of that. And then you'll find that you're not always the one out, because Pisces risings are very, like, my mom is a Pisces rising, and they're very giving and compassionate, and they're always connecting with other people. But this is going to be a little bit of a turn where other people are looking to connect with you. Yeah. And they're going to be seeking you. What wisdom, what knowledge do you, they're going to ask the weird spiritual woohoo person, well, what do you think? Right. And this is your time to kind of like illuminate your magic. Because, Lisa, I don't know how you feel about it, but for me, Pisces risings, I think in some ways they have the most challenging lives here on Earth in this 3D realm. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the way, as you were saying, everything is shifting. Aquarius and Pisces risings, this is their time. Yeah. Like, this is what they've been waiting for forever since they've been born, and it's here now. So, I mean, you guys, please have at it. In Pisces risings, it's going to be magical. Just make sure you're not, staying stuck with the rose-colored glasses. Don't delude yourself so you could be deceived. Yes. Trust in that Virgo South Node to take you out of the bad business deal, the bad relationship, the bad contract. Yeah, absolutely. And that will always guide you properly. So I'm excited for them. Yeah, and one thing, too, that's really important for Pisces, Virgo, strong, meaning Pisces rising, Virgo sun, Pisces sun, you have to be careful of projection from others.
because a lot of times people project onto you who they think you are. And then especially if you're a Pisces rising, you'll start to believe it because you're like, oh, well, they think that I know that, so I must know that. Or they think I'm not good at that, so I must not be good at that. It's like you can take that on. So you have to be very, 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 remember your energy is your currency. Very important for all of us, but especially right now for the Pisces and Virgo risings, just watch that because it's a slippery slope as far as projection goes.
And they're going to have to really focus on the healthy boundaries because remember, Saturn's going to be there September 1st. Absolutely. So this is that last karmic lesson, Pisces risings. Don't let the energy vampires just suck you dry.
No, definitely.
I always think about True Blood, Sookie Stackhouse. They want your fairy blood, Pisces rising.
Well, I feel like this is actually a great time for Pisces rising. I feel like the last 6 months, for them, it's been a lot of growth and challenge, but at the same time, karmic rewards. It's like they're getting it. They're getting where they want to be. And I would also like to say that for those that have the North Node in Pisces at birth and the South Node in Virgo, you are in the nodal return. So for you, think of like everything times 10, the acceleration, the foot's on the gas pedal, the universe is driving the car, and you have to co-create. But I always say too with eclipses, don't sit there and do a lot of, this is just my opinion, my suggestion, you do you, but when it comes to eclipse energy, the energy's wild. It's a wild card. You don't want to mess with that because it's already going. So the best thing you can do is just be present, ground, honor the energy for what it is. Don't push, don't force. Lay low and go slow and receive. That's the best thing that you can do. And then you integrate. You work with what you got. That's the best way to handle the energy, to manage it. And then if you are as Virgo North Node, Pisces South Node, you're in the nodal opposition, which again is a fast track to your destiny, but it usually is a little bit more, the car's a little bit more unruly to get you there. It
can be uncomfortable.
Yes.
The nodal opposition. Yeah.
But it's still meant to put you to your divine, you're going to your divine plan, but you might be taking a different route than you really expected. So.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And people don't, I mean, I guess it would be up to debate, right? You could ask 30 different astrologers, you get different answers. But the nodal axis with Pisces, Virgo, it's, I think they're sister signs, they work well together. I think the most challenging sister sign relationship is Aries, Libra, in my opinion. But in terms of the nodes, Virgo, Pisces is so different. Because of, the Virgo's so analytical and logical and systems.
Yes.
And Pisces, it's like, woohoo! Like,
let's float out to sea. Yeah, exactly.
I'm in the spiritual.
Oh, it's 10 o'clock. I have to eat. It's like, I forgot. It's very spacey.
I didn't drink any water all day. Like, it's like they're like in a dream.
Yeah,
Virgo's
floating.
Like, no, I'm here like crunching numbers all day.
Yeah.
It's like the meditation teacher versus the accountant. It's totally two different lives.
Yeah, it's like Pisces is you go floating in the salt. You go floating in the salt water there. Yeah. Pisces is the floating, and the Virgo's like that salt, like that's going to ground you, and it's in the float tank. That's those two energies.
Oh, I'm thinking about doing that in September, going to the float tank.
That gives me anxiety. I can't do that.
Really?
No.
Oh my God, I'm looking forward to it. I've never done it, so
I like salt caves, but floating in, I always feel like the salt is. I don't know. I have mental problems with that stuff. But yeah, it's a lot. And also know too that if you find yourself, all of us collectively during this time, obsessing over certain things, that's that Virgo strong. That's that Virgo energy. So look to the part of your chart that contains Virgo, because you'll see, for example, if you've got Virgo in your 8th house, Virgo's your 8th house, and you find yourself obsessing over death, dying, mortality. Well, that's Virgo's literally, that in the 8th house at that time. If it's your 4th house, you may find yourself obsessing about moving, or you're really obsessing about family. Your 10th house, it could be your career, I need to change my job. But it's like when we've got that Virgo energy, it's like we were really locked in and we're so focused on the details of how we're going to do it. And we won't, so just know that.
And how to do it better.
Yeah, and how to do it better. Exactly. I always say with my Virgo strong souls, be careful, because you think your intention is to help, but the other person hears it as you're trying to fix me. You don't think I can do it. They take it as criticism.
Right.
But Virgos are the most critical of themselves. They're not necessarily.
And that's what I try to teach people. I let them know, like, listen. if a Virgo takes the time to point something out to you,
they care.
It's because they really care.
Exactly.
Virgo won't say anything to you if they don't care.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
So
they won't even bother.
Yeah, they won't even bother. So like if they're pointing it out, it's because they're like, oh, I can help this person be like on 10, and right now they're 7.5. You know what I mean? And so they don't ever really mean to be critical of others. I think the hardest thing for Virgos is to get out of their own way.
Absolutely.
Out of all the signs, I think Virgo gets in their own way the most.
Definitely.
You know?
Definitely.
So this has been great. Like, I think everybody's gonna really do well.
I hope it was helpful.
You know, with these eclipses, and like you said
earlier, get to the water. Stick your feet in the water. Take salt baths. Drink your water.
Drink it. Yeah.
Listen to water meditations. You know, just pull into the elements of earth and water. That's the best thing you can do right now. Every single day, just be present in the moment. I tell myself that all the time when I start to project into the future and get anxiety about certain things. I'm like, nope, not going to do it. This is where I am right now. I'm going to stay here, and I'll deal with that if I have to. That's like, I'm really trying to rewire that. It's a lot. It's hard work, and
we all have to do it.
Yeah.
In our own different ways. You're right. It's you know, the greatest assignment is mastery of self.
Absolutely.
You know, and I just hope that everyone has a safe and smart eclipse season. And really, you're going to be feeling this from this new moon, because it's almost like
it's an activation.
It's almost like we have 3 eclipses. Yeah. To be honest with you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why that's why we were saying this is a perfect time to do this, because man, I've had the headaches going already. The eclipse, this energy is just a lot right now.
Yeah. You know, I can't remember the last time. Because, you know, I do remember a few years back we had, like, I think it was 2 Aquarius new moons or full moons.
Full moons, yeah, full moons.
But it's different in this setup because it's like with eclipses.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the last time that we had like this, like literally 0, 15, 29, like this whole alignment. It's really like 3. This is like an anomaly, and I really feel, Lisa, for everyone, like this is really kind of like the official slow burn of, you know, the door's still a little ajar of literally closing the chapter.
Yeah.
Because people like, oh, we're in the age of Aquarius. You guys, ages and the cusp of the ages, it's a slow blend. This is like, you know, that cusp is like 400 something years. Like, it's a slow, you know what I mean? So we're at the very, you know, pinky toe in the water age of Aquarius, but the door's still cracked on the Piscean age.
Yeah.
So don't go falling back for the old structures and systems. Don't fall back for the old storylines about yourself and what people said, oh, you're this, Lisa is that, Eric's that, or whoever, you know, Melanie or Jennifer, Stephen. Like, just close that out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Think about how you're moving forward in the best way possible.
Definitely.
And being authentically you. So.
And let go and flow.
I love it.
Right? Let go and flow. So everybody have a lovely, wishing you all the best. We'll come back and check in with you again, maybe halfway through this, you know, halfway through September, see where we're all at. We'll see if we can do that and how everyone's doing. And stay strong, stay solid, stay centered, stay in your light. Take care.
I love it.
Good night.